Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the prime time edition. Joining us, as always, we got the crew, Lifetime Longhorn, young prodigy himself, CJ Vogel, and our own coach, former high school football coach at Belton, Burnett, Capel, Brownwood. Also played football at Abilene Christian, coach there as well. Was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches, and now you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. He's our own coach, Coach Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Ready for another game, baby. I'm about ready to jump off the second floor. Man, about 12 minutes to go in the game, and then now I can't wait for the next game.
It's a wild ride being a Longhorn fan these days. I'm not gonna lie, it's a wild ride, guys, and I just got to get you guys. I know you guys have probably rewatched the game, so we'll get everybody's thoughts about one of the greatest comebacks in Texas football history. I mean, that's just the only way you really can put it out there. We'll get your thoughts about that. I got good news, bad news about the Texas offense. We'll talk about that. Sark spoke to the media. CJ Vogel himself was there, boots on the ground. So we'll get his thoughts. We'll hear from Steve Sarkisian and get CJ's thoughts about what was said at the media availability. And, of course, we won't bury the lead. It's about the quarterback situation at Texas. Arch had to leave the game early. Matthew Caldwell came in with ice water in his veins and showed up and showed out in the 3 plays that he had there at overtime and helped Texas win the game. And we'll hear from Steve Sarkisian. But CJ, before we do that, you were there at the media availability. And what were your thoughts about what Sark had to say about the quarterback situation?
Yeah, look, Arch is in protocol, so it's not up to Sark whether or not he's on the field Saturday. You, of course, have to clear the hoops and the hurdles that are set forth by the training staff, by the medical professionals. You know, you got to go in there each day. And Rod, I'm not sure if this was the case when you were playing, but Coach, I'm sure you've seen these concussion tests where you got to walk in, get in front of the computer, and basically go through like a 50-question true or false test, right? And they got all sorts of which 2 colors are the same, which puzzle pieces would fit in the same piece or whatever. It's a crazy concussion test these days, but he's got to go and prove that his brain is functional, right? He's got to go out there and prove that there aren't any lingering effects, and that's something with the brain and with these professionals. They're not going to rush back. And the Manning family is going to make sure that they're not pushing anything forward. So at least not into any type of predicament where he's not fully ready to be back. So out of Sarkisian's hands, out of Texas football's hands until he is cleared. We did hear Matthew Caldwell receive the first-team reps today in practice, and which meant KJ Lacey got second-team reps today in practice for the first time. So that's where your quarterbacks stand at the moment. And that's where they will be until Arch Manning clears protocol.
Here's one thing that we did when I was there, and I'm assuming they still do it, is everybody gets a brain scan before two-a-days start. Mm-hmm. And so then they come back in, do a brain scan, and compare you unconcussed with concussed.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff. They don't leave much to chance on that thing, and there's not a thing in the world the coach can do to persuade it one way or the other. And why would you? You don't want to rush a guy back, because how many times have we seen that? We were talking pre-show about Tua, and it just seems like once you start getting concussed, and this is the second one, that they just seem to come more frequent. And I'm certain that's something that the Mannings don't want to see.
Yeah,
there's no doubt a cumulative effect we call them concussions because that's a fancy medical term, but it's just a brain injury is what it is. And the concussion kind of softens the blow and desensitizes.
You have brain damage. You've got some brain
damage. That's what somebody was like.
Don't call it that.
You start calling it brain damage and a brain injury. They said it'd be a different conversation, but concussion almost softens it for us. But it's a brain injury, guys. It's a brain image, and like Coach said, it could be brain damage if you don't handle the injury well. just like any injury. Yeah, CB here. Great stat here, CB. And by the way, I apologize. You know, the show belongs to you guys. So whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. Questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. We can interrupt the show at any time. So we just didn't want to bury the lead because we know talking, obviously, Arch and his status is the number one topic. But CB with a great stat here says if Arch can't play Saturday, Texas has used or needed multiple quarterbacks in 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 03, 04, 06, 07, 09, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, the truth is this, because CB lays it out there perfectly for you. All right, when a quarterback can make it, starting every game from start to finish, right? Every game, all 12 regular season and the postseason, especially now with a extended postseason, that is the exception and not the rule, period. And it might be the case for everybody, but definitely at Texas. I mean, it just doesn't happen very often, and it hasn't happened since Sark has been here. So they should always invest in backup quarterback. Always. They should do it heavily because it's going to be a game or two every year, basically during the Sark era, that tells us your backup going to have to go win it for you. And honestly, that's kind of how the NFL is, because the NFL is so long. Usually something happens to your quarterback, you got to go in for a play or two in a crucial situation, or they got to go out and play 1 or 2 games. So you better make sure your backup is ready to do that. And that will be the $1 million question. I don't know how much Matthew Caldwell's making, but whatever he's making. All right.
Yeah, maybe not $1 million.
Yeah, it ain't $1 million. No, not that. But you get my point. Can we? Let's hear from the head coach first. He's talking about this topic, and let's hear from Steve Sarkisian talking about the status of Arch and the quarterback situation going into the Vanderbilt game.
Well, I think the good thing for Matt, he's a very even-keeled guy. I thought he had a great practice today. I think the players have a lot of confidence in him. I think it's his maturity, his approach. He's very engaged even when he doesn't play. If you ever watched our sidelines in game, 18 is probably the most engaged player on that sidelines. He's always picking guys up, offense, defense, special teams. And so he's got a really good relationship with the guys. And so I don't think it's like, well, who's this guy? He's in a lot of faces a lot of the times. And so it felt very comfortable, felt very normal today. I thought the bigger thing for today was that KJ Lacey got reps with the twos. And I thought that was really good for him. He's a very talented player who's been growing and getting better. So it was fun for us to see him get more reps today.
All right, there you go, Coach. Yeah, I see some talk in the chat about Trey Owens. Unfortunately, my prediction about Trey Owens is true. I think Trey Owens is going to end up transferring out. He's not in this conversation about quarterback right now. KJ Lacey, Jerry and Bobby were talking about that earlier this year, that he had already impressed enough to start surpassing him on the depth chart there. But Matthew Caldwell, what are your thoughts, Coach? You got a chance to see him? I mean, we haven't seen much of him, but I will agree with Coach. There is a calm presence to the young man. He obviously knows the offense. CJ informed us of the nugget in the post game that the touchdown pass that he threw was a check, an audible by him to throw that fade route to Emmett Mosley. What are your thoughts that it seems likely he's going to be the guy on Saturday? We don't know anything for sure. We don't know anything. Just want to throw it out there. But concussion protocol is concussion protocol. Once you're in it, there are certain steps that have to be obviously achieved, and it's only a certain amount of time that you have. Hard to clear that in that time. Like you said, there's also the added element of it being a Manning and them having their own resources to address these types of concerns too. But what are your thoughts about Matthew Caldwell and Texas going into this Vanderbilt game?
Well, first of all, that's a really great point. I never thought about that. The Manning having their own resources and people to check and make sure that he's in good shape. But, Matthew Caldwell, he's done nothing but show he's got ice in his veins. But I will say this, it's much easier coming off the bench, not fretting and worrying all week about, and all of a sudden, hey, get in there, and you throw a couple of passes, get warmed up on the sidelines, until they get the starter off. And then you go out there and, run a couple plays and I mean, he's done it twice in a row, so I don't expect to see that Saturday. I mean, it's going to be, he's going to have all week to think about this. But it's going to be really interesting to see how he responds to this, to see if he comes out with that ice in his veins that he showed so far. I mean, he showed against who was it we played when he came in and played Sam Houston. Yeah, he showed he's got wheels. He can run. Mm-hmm. He can do things well. He seems to have good ball placement, at least the few passes that we've seen so far, especially in pressure situations. He's come through. So it's going to be fun to watch. But I just want to warn everybody, don't have your expectations set too high, because there's a lot of boo birds out there for Arch, and they want you're about to get it. Okay, so don't set the bar too high. You can look at those plays and go, well, that's really cool. But I'm telling you, when you're the starter and all the cameras are going to be on you pregame, every snap of the game, they're going to be on you, sidelines, your demeanor, all that stuff. It's a whole different beast.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Backup quarterback is always popular.
Always.
Yeah, that's just the case. All right. I know we got some questions, some comments going. We'll get back to the quarterback conversation and, of course, talk about Texas' historic comeback versus Mississippi State and look ahead to Vandy. But on Mondays, we are always pleased to be joined by my former teammate, lifetime Longhorn Stevie Lee, joins us on Mondays, courtesy of our good friends at Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com. You can reach out to them anytime you have any concerns or questions about your roof. You have hardgroveroofing.com. They have offices in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, but they are the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. And they have some great customer service. I've met a lot of the fine folks from Hardgrove Roofing through some of the events that we've had through our partnership. And actually, Stevie Lee can vouch for the fine folks at Hardgrove Roofing as well. So they're good people. Reach out to them today at hardgroveroofing.com. All right, Stevie Lee, how are you, brother? How was the weekend? And, oh, man, when did you watch the game? And give me the roller coaster of emotion that you went through.
So I got to be honest, I wasn't having – before the game, I did not have very much confidence in this game, just the track record that we were putting out there. It's just I wanted us to win. I thought that we could win. But when we got down, I was like, golly, here we go. But I was sitting on my couch. I didn't want to watch it with nobody because they don't like me. I don't want to be around people cussing at the TV. But man, the fight that we showed, that was awesome. In fact, I just want to shout out Torrey Becton. Torrey Becton, I think, and I don't want to call any coaches out or anything like that, but the offensive scheme, I'm not getting it. The defensive scheme this week was especially a little bit off with me, but the way Torrey Becton have these kids conditioned and strong at the end of the game, that's what won the game. We just beat them down to the end of the game. We still look fresh at the end of the game, and they look tired at the end of the game. That's how we won, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think there's a good point in that. I mean, look at the defensive line and the effort they were able to play, the pressure they were able to have on Blake Shapen. I mean, Ethan Burke played 50-plus snaps. Colin Simmons was over 65. I mean, you don't get that from your edge defenders too often. When did you realize – did it take until the Niblett punt return, Stevie, for you to realize, oh, this is a possibility? Or was there a moment at some point in the fourth where you said, hey, if they cut it to a two-score game or maybe even a one-score game, they got a real chance here?
So when they were punting us the ball, in my head, they were not going to punt directly to Niblett.
Exactly.
Right? Mississippi State coach needs to be fired for that alone. But I had confidence that because Arch had slowed down a little bit and actually started playing, that we were going to march down the field and tie it up. That's what I had in my head. But then we marched down. We didn't have to march.
Did we lose Stevie?
We might have lost Stevie.
Oh, is he back? Did you lose Stevie? I think he might have been glitching on us. All right, we'll try to get Stevie back. I think he was glitching on us a little bit. Our apologies about that. Yeah. But that's a good point you brought up, CJ, about how the snap count for everybody, and how much everybody's played, and basically the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you got to overtime in the last 2 weeks. Thank God you're going back home, but talk about the cumulative effect of wearing guys down. I think that's ultimately what happened to the defense. I still think the defense, I know they've given up a lot of yards, but I do think the defense just got worn out. Thank God it's a team sport, and you had special teams and offense to back you up this week against Mississippi State.
Yeah, what is it? I think it was 171 total snaps on defense over the last 2 weeks. I mean, and Sark mentioned it today. He's like, look, we'll probably get 55 or 60 on offense against Vanderbilt just because of the style that they play.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, the defense is probably thrilled for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is almost 3 games worth, depending on opponent, in 2 games, and they've had to play an extra quarter. So it's a lot of time. And of course, they're dinged up, right? Colin Simmons posted on Instagram after, he's like, hey man, I'm worn out. Of course, Michael Taft's not playing, but look, that's a lot of snaps. So credit to Stevie's point, credit to Torrey Beckton and the strength and conditioning program, making sure that these guys can play that many snaps.
Yep. All right, let's get to some super chats here. Killer 1021, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Says here, I remember in a past stream, I believe one of you guys said Sark was getting away from pocket passers. Sark said KJ was getting works with the twos. Is Trey Owens done at Texas? Highly recruited guy. Because I believe your theory was good about Sark, where he's evolving in his quarterback evals.
Yeah.
That, and is this you can go into the basketball thing here? Okay, I don't want to spoil it because it's good.
Yeah, I was going a little bit towards that basketball side of things, and it's just guys with point guard backgrounds, guys who have played the position of getting the ball where it needs to go in the timely manner. And you look at it, Arch Manning was a high school basketball player. He still plays every now and then in the offseason here in Austin. KJ Lacey he's an 8th grader on varsity. He said the reason why he stopped playing is, well, he met Riley Leonard at one point in the paint. He said, I'm done with this. So, of course, Diabell, we talk about his basketball background. And of Kavian Bryant, who Texas is right now fighting with Texas Tech for in the 2027 class, he has multiple D1 basketball offers at the moment. So I think there's something to it. I think there's an evolution at the quarterback position that we see every 10 years or so, right? Is kind of the baseball background, the shortstop being able to make throws at every arm length or arm angle, all of the, foot, off balance, off platform, whatever you want to say there. Now it's kind of changed, right? Or at least in my opinion with Sark, but we'll see how that continues to evolve. I don't know if Matthew Caldwell has any basketball in him at all, but it's interesting to see how they all kind of have those similarities of point guard, get the ball where it's got to go.
That second reaction, off schedule, off script ability, which we've seen Arch in the scramble drill and scrambling. He's awesome. I think you're right. And Trey Owens, maybe there's a reason that he is kind of being, recruited over, if that's kind of the thing to say. I'm not trying to disrespect. I like Trey Owens. You guys know that. I love the kid. And I said he's going to end up transferring. I said that when he came in, I was like, he's going to end up transferring. The quarterback position, based on CJ's theory, where it was evolving to, and the quarterbacks they were bringing in, I was like, he's going to end up transferring. But nothing wrong, no shame in that. Go somewhere and start for another program, which we've seen from Texas quarterbacks who transferred under Sark have gone other places already to become starters. All right, Stevie, sorry about that. I don't know how we lost you, brother. Okay, getting back to, I think we were talking about the defense.
We're talking about how I felt coming back. Well, us coming back and winning that game. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, let me tell me about Ryan Niblett, because I'm ready now, guys. I'm ready. I'm a 45-year-old man now, and I've enjoyed decades of being the greatest number 21 in Texas football history. I've enjoyed it.
Oh no,
but I am ready to relinquish that title of the greatest number 21 in Texas football. I think Ryan Niblett may be surpassing Rod B, because listen, I was cold now. I was an All-American. Ryan Niblett's going to be an All-American. And Ryan Niblett is winning games, literally. Like he's And he is pushing the team over the top to win games. My biggest plays didn't come in game when we didn't win those games. Like we should have beat Colorado when I got the pick 6. Didn't do it in the Big 12 title game. Would have propelled us into going to the national title game. Rob B would have been a legend. Not a statue over there on the 4 acre somewhere. And then the Texas OU game, pick 6. We gonna beat Oklahoma? Nope. Didn't do it in 02. Those are my Mona Lisas. Those are my masterpieces on the field, and yet didn't lead to wins. You know how that goes, Coach. Who the hell gives a damn about your play if you didn't win the game? So when Niblett's making them kind of plays though, and they winning the game. Imagine one of my pick 6 being a game-winning pick 6. Well, win the game. That's what Ryan Niblett's doing, and he's doing it with the 2-1. So, what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think?
Rod Babers, man, you still number 1 in my heart, bro. So.
We still got some games left, Rod. I mean, don't anoint him the best 21 yet ever. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he had a couple good returns, but man, Robbie, you did it on the defense, right? So let's pump the brakes a little bit. He did it on special teams, but the defense is where you got it done. So let's pump the brakes, man.
All right. Yeah. I appreciate that. Because I was ready to give it up. I've been watching him, and he's called. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. That's love. And CJ's like, I'm picking Niblett. He didn't want to say it. Tell by the way you looking, CJ. You like,
I'm not. I'm just imagining, and we've talked about it. How much more room to ascend does Niblett have? Was that the last punt return that he gets all year?
Yes.
In my right mind, Coach, tell me why he still gets opportunities to receive punts. He got in trouble. His first punt return of the day, he went for 16 yards. He cut it right upfield, right up the middle, gets 16 yards. He gets to the sideline, and Banks like, why the hell did you do that? Ball to the wall. Get that thing to the sideline. Follow your blockers. Look after the 16-yard punt return. I'm sitting there on the sideline or in the booth saying, hey, this is probably the last one he gets today. That's 16 yards. That's a good return.
Yeah. Well, and what he's averaging over 20, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
25. He leads the country, Coach, in average punt return yards, 25.5.
Yeah. So that's going to mean good field position for us one way or the other. Whether it's Niblett giving us or I'm telling you, when you ask a guy to punt it out of bounds, they shank him, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I mean, you're going to see some shanks.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. But you're going to see some shanks when you tell a guy to kick it out of bounds.
Amazing.
Punting's one of those things, and I'll be quick here. Punting's one of those things where the minute you start thinking directionally, unless you're a professional, unless you've been doing this for 15 or 20 years, right? Most of these college kids, they just found out, unless they're Australian, they just got a big leg, right? And they're just trying to find ways to get the ball as far down the field as possible. Mm-hmm. Until you get like the Johnny Heckers or the Michael Dixons of the world who can drop it differently. Until they can pinpoint it, put it in the coffin corner, if you will. It gets so deep in their head. And Coach, you're absolutely right. The minute you start saying, hey, we want this thing to go as far as you can, but out of bounds, that thing's not going far, or it's not going out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And the directional punting is not a strength of college punters. It never will be.
That's a good point. No, you're right. They made it. I would just kick it really high. I'm like, man, we're kicking it so high.
It don't matter to Niblett. He's got the courage. He's got the heart. He'll catch it right. He don't care.
He should.
He ain't scared.
Stevie, right? I got a question for you here.
He ain't scared.
As we move from punting, tell me a time at Texas y'all won a game that you had no business winning. Because it's been 2 weeks in a row now where Texas has come away with the victory, where on paper or at least late into a quarter, they had no business winning that game. What were the vibes like? Did you feel like you stole one, or was it like, hey, we can build off of this. This is kind of who we are now. What do you think about where Texas is, and can you relate to that at all?
Damn it, CJ, man, you're gonna make me sound like an a-hole right now, because when we walked off the bus, we knew we were winning that game, no matter where we were. Now, the closest thing I think that we ever got to, and I'm actually being serious. Like, we knew we were gonna win every game that we were in, right? But that's the mentality that we had back then. I mean, we had some really good teams. It was a surprise that we lost whenever we lost a game. Okay, mm-hmm. But the one that I was
The suspense is killing me. Just when he was about to get into
the one that I was nervous about, I'll be quick, as I don't know what's wrong with the connection, is going to Nebraska that year against the Black Shirts. You remember that, Rod? Or were you there then at the time?
I don't know. We went to Nebraska and won one. That was tough, but I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about.
Yeah, so it was they had all the who did they have? That Tim Couch, was it? Was it Couch?
No. You're talking about Crouch. It was
Couch.
It was
Couch was Kentucky.
Nah, yeah, Couch. You might be Crouch was there, but that was early on. It might have been Lord.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was the tough we knew we was gonna have to play, but even getting off the bus, we knew we were winning games.
I agree. I agree with doing that. Yeah, Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Eric Crouch.
All right. Jamal Lord was there too. I remember later on. Let me ask you this last question. Texas is going to overtime against Kentucky and against Mississippi State the last 2 weeks. Is that the SEC being very deep and having a lot of parity, or is that more of Texas being in a state where they basically they're going to be in a dogfight with any team, no matter how good or bad they are? Like they're not good enough to pull away and blow teams out.
I like how you worded that, Rod.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rod, you answered that question. You answered that question knowing the answer. That was a rhetorical question, Rod.
It was. I was trying to be nice and be respectful.
Yeah, man. We start off slow, man. We're I don't know what it is right now, man. We're starting off too slow, and we have to come back and win games now. And then, like I said, hats off to Torrey Becton for getting these guys right. Their bodies and conditioning and everything is right. It's just it doesn't come out until the end of the game after we beat them down for a while.
It's interesting too. Look, Texas started great against Mississippi State, right? They had the 2-play touchdown. They had 2 straight 3-and-outs, and then offensively, you go 2 straight 3-and-outs of your own, and then Mississippi State's able to gain some sort of lead, and you're sitting there saying, okay, like, can you battle back? This team hasn't been great at battling back. And Stevie, to your points, I think this team's kind of incapable of not dragging down or getting dragged down into the trenches for a dogfight, and that might just be who they are, right? We talk about identity. It's grinded out until you got to get in crisis mode, Rod. And that's really where you see the offense go. And I'd like to talk about that here in a minute too, because I know you got some great numbers there, but I'm going down a rabbit hole of my own that we'll talk about. It's just interesting that 8 games in, I think the identity is that, hey, they're going to work for everything they got. It won't be pretty. And there's no guarantee that they're going to get what they want. It's really interesting this year. One of the more peculiar years I've ever seen for Texas.
No doubt about it. It is. I agree with that 100%. Every Texas fan has kind of said that too about this team. All right, Stevie, we won't keep you too long. Thank you very much for the time. Appreciate all the knowledge, and tell that lovely family of yours that we all said hi. Appreciate
I will, man. I'm about to get on the phone with. I just got Spectrum internet like last week, and they're gonna hear about this tonight.
That's my man, Stevie.
Let them know.
All right. That's lifetime Longhorn, my former teammate, Stevie Lee, man. He's awesome. He's great. All right. Courtesy of Hard Grove Roofing, by the way, hardgroveroofing.com. You have any concerns, questions about your roof, reach out to our friends at Hard Grove Roofing. hardgroveroofing.com. Okay. There you go. Boom. Thank you, Matthew. 512-645-3202. Know who's on your roof with our friends at Hard Grove Roofing. Offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. And also, it won't be Stevie on your roof, just so you know. All right. So, Stevie, even though he's shed a few pounds, he's still a D lineman. You don't want him on your roof, but he can vouch for the fine folks at hardgroveroofing.com. All right, let's get right to the super chats, gentlemen. Spectrum is I agree. I see. That's crazy. Y'all say that because I don't want to dog some cable or internet provider because they might end up in trying to have us do endorsements for them one day or advertise on this platform. So I can't even. I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to do it.
But there goes any sponsorship for me, Mom.
There's another provider that I will talk a lot of issue about because they were a nightmare for me for years. But I switched, actually, courtesy of this because of this platform. I needed
Stevie is a foundation specialist. Yeah, keep him on the foundation, not on the roof.
And yeah, it's a good foundation, no doubt. All right, let's get to the super chats, guys. Todd Lacey, thank you for the super chat. Good to hear from you. He says, how should Texas attack Vandy on offense and defense? I would bring pressure, and when not blitzing, spy Pavia. Thoughts? I think Caldwell would shine. Ooh, all right. Coach, what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure you've watched Vandy at least at one point. Remember from last year? I mean, he's been running that offense for, CJ Woods. It might be his 4th year in that offense or something like that. He's run that offense, before he even got to Vanderbilt, and they brought the whole crew over. So he knows it like intimately. And he's one of the best playmakers in the country. Here right now, he might be the high. I haven't looked at the Heisman odds. CJ, you might know. He might be the Heisman front runner. Is he?
He's up in that conversation. Marcel Reed's up there. Julian Sane, I think, should be top 2 with Fernando Mendoza right now, but he's definitely in that top 4, top 3.
Okay. Coach, how would you attack Vandy? What would you do?
Well, first of all, Pavia against our defense is a great matchup. It's a great matchup. But I do agree with Todd. I would definitely spy Pavia, with not necessarily with the defensive lineman, but with a linebacker, I would definitely do that. I think it's going to be an intriguing matchup, but I don't know. Deep down in my gut, I feel like Texas will be up defensively for Pavia in this Vanderbilt offense. I agree. I would bring pressure, but when you do that, you definitely have to have somebody there to spy because he will make you pay if you miss him and don't have somebody that can tackle an open space.
Yep.
Caldwell, I'm hoping he'll shine, but I'm just tap the brakes a little bit, guys. Let's see what he does. The backup quarterback's always the best player on the team until he gets on the field, and then we'll see if we'll see. I'm all for him. I hope he does great.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
I'm with you, Coach, on Vanderbilt. Off defensively for Texas, you got to find a way to bring pressure. He beat you with his legs a little bit a year ago, and containment's going to be key, right? You remember the first touchdown he was able to score last year. He broke contain. He made a cornerback miss, and he railed the sideline, and he found the end zone. You're sitting there saying, hey, you can't give him that much opportunity, that much leeway. And Texas normally has been really good at containing quarterbacks that can run, right? That's kind of been a strength of a PK defense. What's going to be most interesting, and I know a lot of folks look at the box score for Pavia and they say, well, he's just not – he doesn't do much, right? He only threw for, about 160 yards this past week. He doesn't need to do much, right? It's going to be a condensed game possession-wise, and what he gives you is those tough 2 to 3 to 4 extra yards after being contacted. He keeps you ahead of the chains. He protects the football. The key for Texas a year ago was taking the football away, right? Providing short fields for the offense. If Texas can do just that, look, they're going to have to find ways to take the football away. And they didn't do a great job of that against Mississippi State. So fortunately, and Coach, it's going to be a different type of week leading up because what did Mississippi State like to do? Fast, beat you in space. It's going to be completely different because it's going to be a slow grind from Vanderbilt. That's going to be interesting. How does Texas come out? How prepared are they for the slow grind and 12 or 13 personnel? Because Vanderbilt has not just one good tight end. They've got multiple. They got 2. They got 3 that are capable. It's going to be a completely different game. I think I'd start with 3 down linemen, kind of a 5-2 look, 5-1 look even, and just say, hey, throw the ball. If you want to beat us, Pavia, throw the ball.
Yeah. And it sucks having – Taff out for a lot of reasons, but also because now you kind of lose one of your guys to spy. Not Taff, but Taff will be a safety, but Jelani McDonald, they kind of bring down a guy that can spy. You do have multiple guys who can spy. I think Anthony Smith can be a spy for you. Anthony Hill can spy. They've used Colin Simmons in the past to be a spy. So I think you got to switch up who's going to be your spy based on whatever the situation is going to be. But I think the scramble is what I worry about most with Pavia and the scramble drill. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that how he scored on Texas last year? The scramble drill. As we look at Arch, Arch's scramble drill is almost impossible to defend. He's a beast. Texas averaging damn near 10 yards per play. all right, in the scramble drill with Arch. That's what I worry about with Pop because he's one of the best in the country at the scramble drill. He's fantastic.
CJ, I want to jump here and ask, what is the word on tap for this week? What's the word on him? Will he possibly be available?
I don't think so. We'll see, of course, on Wednesday with the injury report. But look, he had, pins and screws inserted, right? And I don't know which one is worse in terms of contact, but when you have to insert something into the hand, it's different than just having a fracture, right? And just clubbing it up and saying, hey, I can go play, right? If you mess up those pins and needles and whatnot, like it delays, it lingers, I'm no doctor clearly, but I can only assume it's one of those long-term effects that can mess up nerves and just make it a bloody mess essentially. So I think it'd be risking it to put Taft back on the field. I know Texas desperately needs him, but look, again, this is a game where you're not going to be stressed all too much with the vertical passing game. Your tight ends their tight ends will be threats. But right now, if you're Texas, you have to make sure that long-term Michael Taft is not something you look back on and say, hey, his football career was cut short because of a rush back.
Yeah. I think that if I'm not mistaken, it's a Georgia game, kind of what they're targeting.
Yes. And that would be 22 days after the original surgery, in which then swelling will have gone down. He'll be more comfortable. And of course, that's when you can say, wrap it all up, get a club on there and go play some ball.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, but about Pop, you definitely got to put a spy on him. That's how you defensively. And I like what Texas is doing, being a little bit more aggressive defensively. That game by Anthony Hill, was last game against Mississippi State was awesome. He had his highest pass rush snaps of the season against them. And look what he did. 2.5 sacks. I believe he had 9 pressures. I think CJ, Jerry, and myself have all been campaigning, use him more as a pass rusher. Hopefully that's a trend that continues. Also, the tight end thing you brought up, CJ, is something to be worried about. Do you all realize that in the last 2 games that Mississippi State and Kentucky targeted tight ends 19 times?
Wow.
Those teams have seen something with the tight end position, and they don't even really have great tight ends. Vanderbilt's got a really good tight ends. So if you're Vanderbilt watching the tape the last 2 weeks, you're thinking, oh, our tight ends can eat. Man, Traore made plays against them. Kentucky tight ends look really good. I think they were 14 of 19 throwing to tight ends.
Yeah.
9 first downs, 2 touchdowns to tight ends the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Now you about to play some real good ones.
Look,
got them out. See that, Coach?
Get a freeze frame of that, Matthew.
Just saying. Watch them tight ends, man. All right, what are you saying? Sorry, CJ. Go ahead.
No, it was one of those. Texas needs a big game from Ty Anthony Smith this past weekend. Rod, I think I said it to you afterward. It was one of the few games, a rare moment in Ty Anthony Smith's career where I felt like I didn't notice him on the field. And look, I think he's a heck of a player, right? He punches the ball out. He's around the football a lot. He creates havoc plays. I felt like that wasn't the case. And look, it's not just him. Like, that linebacking unit wasn't good until they started to weaponize Anthony Hill. You put him up on the edge. You put him, as a 3 or 5 tag sniffer over the nose or over a guard, and you said, go rush the passer. And he was great, right? But someone had to fill that spot. Texas needs to be better in production from its tight end or from its linebacking unit this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. All right, let's hit another super chat here. Buddy Pal, Chief Big Guy. How about this one? Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Generally, the other players will rally around the backup for a game. Doesn't work for an extended time, but for one game, I could see no drops, better pocket, fighting for the extra yard, etc. That is interesting, Coach. I think there is something to that, though, that everybody believes, I got to pick my game up, even though, you always should be giving 110%. It's like, no, I need to crystallize my focus. I need to be even more focused. I need to actually be even better because I got to pick up the slack somehow because we've lost one of our key guys. I do think there is some psychology in that.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Buddy Pal, Chief Big Guy. Thanks for the super chat. I agree with you 100%. I think when there's a wound or there's something that goes awry, that brings you together.
Yep.
You tighten that circle. You take care of each other, and I think that's a great take. I haven't thought about that, but I think it's a great take.
Yeah, no, it is. There's the kind of a rallying cry. I agree with you 100% about that. So that hopefully that'll be the case for Matthew Caldwell. And I can't wait to see the Sark game plan. Sark he's got experience with this, right? He's had backups, had to play every year he's been here. So it's not like he, won't be accustomed to not having his key guy for, a game. It'll just be interesting to see what Matthew Caldwell's strengths are and how Sark kind of builds the game plan around those strengths. Like, do you run Caldwell like you would run, Arch, consider he's a backup now and he likes KJ Lacey. So maybe he's like, hey, I'm still going to run it. That could be the case too. Like, I'm not sure that you can't lose the quarterback run game because you need it. You don't really have much else in your run game. It's a big part of it.
No, you don't. I was going to ask you guys. Also, by the way, excuse my computer. For some reason, I'm getting FaceTime calls from like a month ago that are popping up on my laptop and not my phone.
The ladies are blowing me up. You just say it, CJ. Say the honeys are blowing me up.
I got no honeys, Rob. The chat knows this.
I ain't got time for no honeys.
Yeah, exactly. The ladies are blowing me up, guys. I'm sorry. Like, hey, it's okay. You ain't got to apologize.
We'll spin it that way. Say, hey, man, I don't know who's calling this time.
Well, she better put her clothes back on.
Man, get out of here, Matthew.
I love it, Matthew. I love it. That's exactly what I had pictured in my mind.
That was fantastic. That was good. That
was great.
My mind's kind of gone blank now, but I did want to ask you guys. This has to be just like Kansas State 2023, right? You have Malik Murphy starting. You got a ranked team coming in. You're playing for your Big 12 title life. In this case, it's to keep your season hopes alive. Mm-hmm. What do you do with your quarterback? Now, Texas didn't have the opportunity or doesn't have the opportunity this week to rely on Jonathan Brooks in the running game that it did then. Yeah. But it didn't matter. If I remember correctly, Malik Murphy came out slinging it in the first half.
You look good.
Right? And so I wonder because everybody going into that game thought, control the time of possession, run the football, just try to inch your way down the field to put yourself into position to score. And Sark said, nah, to hell with that. We're airing it out. What does he do with Matthew Caldwell? And that makes me think everything's going to be on the table with it when it comes to running the football with his legs, with the running backs, with his arm, throwing it deep. I think everything's going to be there if he feels comfortable with doing exactly that.
Man, it's going to be fascinating. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I would say that Sark he hasn't really changed his nature, very much, as a coach. I mean, he calls it the way he believes that he can lead his team to, a win. Like, and he believes he's going to do it his way, and he's pretty stubborn about it. So I'm kind of siding with CJ here that I don't know if the offense is going to change much at all. I think Sark's going to come out and do what he does. With Matthew Caldwell lead the offense. Okay, getting back to it here. Blake May with a super chat said it's hard for me to get too excited about Caldwell. If he was that good, wouldn't he be starting somewhere else? Not being a downer, hope he balls out. That's a fair point.
I got some numbers here.
Oh, okay. Boom. Give us the numbers.
Got some numbers here. This is why I'm with you, Coach. And Matthew Caldwell has talent, right? We've seen it against Florida. We've seen it against Mississippi State. He steps in, makes one big throw. You're sitting there saying, hey, that looked pretty darn good, right? Then he has the run. You're like, whoa, he can step in for one throw, make it look real good, and he can beat you with his legs 50 yards. This guy looks athletic, and he is, right? It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about operating the full game plan, right? And I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's one thing to step in there and say, hey, you're going to have 15-yard dig, and the guy, your number 2 wide receiver, is going to clear out that area, just deliver the strike. Or, hey, throw the fade in a one-on-one, right? Let your wide receiver go make the play. That's different. Now, for Matthew Caldwell, and this is where I get really nervous, because this Texas offensive line is going to keep him under pressure the entire day, right? A year ago, he completed 23 of 54 passes while under pressure, according to PFF. That's 42%. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 4 picks. And the thing that is really concerning with Matthew Caldwell, when he's under pressure, that ball gets loose. He fumbles. He gets strip sacked quite a bit. He had about 6 fumbles a year ago when he was at Troy, and that's not starting the entire season. So that's not to say he can't go out there and for one game put up enough effort and enough fight and production to get points on the board for the Longhorns. But knowing what I know about this offensive line and this passing game, he's going to be fighting and running for his life, right? And it's something that I think Arch Manning has done a great job of. Feeling pressure one way, leaking out the other side, making a throw, whether it be across field, whether it be downfield. That was his best moment so far this year. For Caldwell, can he do that cold?
Wow.
That. I worry about that because that offensive line from last week to this week, it's not going to get any better than, hey, what we've seen this year, which is already not great.
All right. Yep. Coach said it, and now CJ backed it up with the numbers. Yeah, let's be realistic about our expectations.
I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer there.
No, that's good. I'm sure because if you're Vandy's watching the film, so Vandy knows what you're talking about.
And Vanderbilt, great front 7, top 20 in sacks, top 20 in tackles for loss, top 20 in rush defense. Guess what? They're going to be in your backfield.
Yep. And you have still a leaky O-line. It was a valiant effort at the end of the Mississippi State game, but it's still one of the worst pass protection units in the country. So we'll see. All right. Getting back to it. How about this one from All Right. Thank you for the super chat. Said the swing and emotions early fourth quarter versus the end. Good Lord. I don't know what to think about this team, but that was an all-time memorable one. Let's enjoy. Yeah, I'm at that point now. All right. That my expectations now have been totally, put to the side. I'm done with the expectations I had and my predictions and prognostications. Like, who gives a damn at this point? Now I'm just riding the roller coaster, and I'm as long as we win, we having a lot of fun on this roller coaster. It's a good time. But yeah, I'm done with the expectations for the team. In terms of for the offense, I think that's what we're talking about specifically. I don't know what to expect from week to week, and I think that's who they are right now, because they're young, inexperienced, and I just think they don't really have a baseline of consistency. It's just if you can bottle what you've been doing in kind of the fourth quarter of some of these games, you could be one of the best offenses in the country, but that's not realistic because they don't do that for 4 quarters. They do it for flashes, and they do it, for a quarter, which is fine. I mean, but they got to win football games that way. So I agree. To enjoy it, I have to kind of dismiss the expectations of they need to be this. No, they are what they are. It's like telling your kids, no, my kid needs to be this. Well, you're gonna be unhappy raising your damn kid. I mean, that's just they are what they are, and you need to love them and kind of accept them and just guide them along the path. You ain't trying to change them. That ain't gonna work. And that's kind of what this team is. You ain't gonna change this team.
Well, here's how I view it. The Kool-Aid's been poured. Are you gonna drink it or not? The optimist in me tends to look at this and say, okay, man, we're going to look back at Niblett's punt return and say that was a turning point of our season. This team grew up right before our eyes, and we're going to turn the corner now, okay, because we know we can come from behind and we can beat people, and we got a little momentum. We're back home after a month, blah, blah, blah. I'm with you. All right. I don't know what to think about this team either, but I'm wanting to drink that Kool-Aid. And I don't know if the Wicked Witch has poisoned that Kool-Aid or not, but I've drank it so many times. I mean, this team teases us with this, and like, okay, man, I'm on board. I'm on the train. Let's go. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And then only to, go to Kentucky and, do what we did there, go to Florida and do what we did there, go to Mississippi State, do what we did there. But we're so excited about that great last 12 minutes that we're like, okay, should I take a sip of this Kool-Aid or not?
Drink up. drink up, man. I agree. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but I have accepted what the team is. And I won't be necessarily optimistic because that's why I asked Stevie Lee the question. You went to overtime with the two worst teams in the SEC. Does that say more about the SEC and the parity of it, or does it say more about where you are as a football team?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now this is a Mississippi State team that beat Arizona State.
It is.
Arizona State beat Texas Tech. I mean, you can make arguments, especially when you look at the teams that Mississippi State's taken down to the wire and should have beat Tennessee, should have beat Florida. I mean,
Agreed.
So it just makes that Kool-Aid kind of sparkle a little bit. Come on, drink.
Before you know it,
CJ, tell me, CJ, tell me,
Coach. Before you know it, we're all victims in Jonestown. That's what it is.
Good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, well done. Great reference there, CJ.
That's a good one.
I got the Kool-Aid in my cup, right? We're gonna go down swinging if that's the case, Coach.
Yeah. You know what? This is how we'll end the discussion. Is it Kool-Aid? Because Kool-Aid's the good stuff, or is it Flavor Aid? I do know for a fact
there's a big difference.
The folks that were poisoned at Jonestown were drinking Flavor Aid and not Kool-Aid, not the good stuff, not the real thing. So the Flavor Aid that'll lead you astray. Is it Kool-Aid or is it Flavor Aid? We don't know yet with this Texas team. Could be Flavor Aid. When that ain't good. All right, let's thank our friends over at Von Lane before we move on. This fall, you got places to be. Texas football games, of course. You got NFL Sundays. You got all these great festivals and concerts. Even they had F1 weekend not too long ago here in Austin. Why waste hours at the airport or stuck behind the wheel? With Von Lane, you just walk into a hotel terminal, check in within minutes, and you're on board. No TSA. No hassle. Settle into one of just 22 oversized first-class seats. Stretch out, recline, and enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi snacks and drinks. And if you want a beer or a cocktail, that's easy. They've got you covered. But if you want to just hang out and relax, you can do that as well. Travel is now open through December, so book today for game days, concerts, or even the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas trips. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. And use the code OTF25 to save $20 on your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. Thank you very much to our friends at Von Lane. Let's get back to the super chats. How about this one from Hugh Brisnix? I'm sure I mispronounced that somehow. I'm not cool enough to know. He says, I'll not see your response because watching stream from the beginning, still, y'all deserve the 10 spot. Hook 'em. Oh, my man.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate that. That's love. That's love right there.
You.
All right. Thank you for that super chat. Justin, up next. How about this one? What kind of game day do y'all think Caldwell needs to have to win? Realistically, I think a 60% completion ratio, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception will be enough to win if we can run the ball. RPOs will be big. That's the key. Can you run the ball? Can Texas run the ball?
So far.
I don't have faith that Texas can run the ball. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a lot of faith in Texas run game. It would be if the Texas can run the ball, they're definitely going to win. It's because it opens up the entire playbook for Sark when they can run the ball. It almost seems play calling is easy for them. When Texas can't run the ball, and I think for anybody, it's a struggle because it cuts your playbook in half. And it makes your early downs so tough, and then it makes the third downs even tougher because you're usually going to be in a third and long unless you just got a quarterback out there who's in the zone. And we've seen that from Arch at times late in games, especially versus Mississippi State, but that's no way to live. So the running game is going to be key, guys.
Yeah, if you don't have a running game, your RPOs are ineffective. They don't respect any run fake.
Yeah.
So if you're not running it, they're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe on the RPOs,
Yeah. And
good point, Coach.
Look, play actions haven't been friendly to Texas this year already. So I don't know, man. I look at it like if you're Matthew Caldwell, you're coming in behind the 8 ball already because you can't run. You're already handcuffed, and it's not anything that you've done. It's just how this team has kind of progressed. It's just who this team has become, a team that can't run and a team that you're going to see a lot of pressure with. How does Sark kind of change things for him? Because he tried to change things for Arch against Mississippi State. He tried, right? 7 of their first 14 passes were behind or at the line of scrimmage. They tried.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid off on that first first series. You get the 60-yard play. You go. It worked later on. You had another 50-yard play with Wingo, and that's kind of it. But then you saw Mississippi State start to make adjustments. And what did they do? They said, hey, we know what you're trying to do, right? We're going to play press man. We're going to bring 8 into the box, and you're not going to run the football, and we're going to get pressure on you immediately. And that can't be the case if Matthew Caldwell's playing quarterback this weekend for the Longhorns. Otherwise, I struggle to see a way where he sees a clean pocket to create down the field or escape with his legs, because they're going to take away the run to begin with. It might not even be there to begin with.
Yeah, no, especially if Caldwell's there. I mean, you're just going to see if Caldwell can beat you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're Vandy, right? He's like, no, can Caldwell beat us? And given the stats that CJ just brought up there, and how many starts does he have versus a Power 4 team? Like 1 start versus Power 4 team, I believe. Or maybe it's not 1 start. He doesn't have many. So, yeah, I'd see if this kid can beat me. I'm not going to build my defense like I fear Caldwell, like I fear Arch Manning and some of his assets. All right, getting back to it here is super chat from Aloha Traveler. Good to hear from you, Aloha Traveler. It says, Aloha, a conspiracy theory. Go out of his way to get the NFL stuff leaked as a message to a few BMDs, the big money donors, to shut the heck up and get off his back about hiring a real OC and get portal help on offense in January. Now, I've heard this theory. E. Hogan, actually, I believe, one of the guys who believes this theory started out there. What are your thoughts about this, guys, that Sark was doing it as leverage? That, hey, y'all need to leave me alone because y'all know if I wanted out, I could get out, I guess. I mean, do we believe this leverage?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't, but that's my take. What do you think, CJ?
Short and sweet, Coach.
Yeah, I'm punting it to you.
Hey, and with all of these, with this leak, with this report, right, and the speculation that ensues and the conspiracy theories that we then put the tinfoil hat on, it's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. That's my Training Day reference, by the way, guys. I watched it.
Boom!
Bang! Had to drop it somewhere. But no, Coach, I kind of think it's like that, right? The noise had never been louder with Steve Sarkisian when it came to play calling, when it came to his offensive product, when it came to him as a head coach, right? Everything that we had seen had been an ascension. Texas obviously did not ascend in 2025. And I don't think there's still a way that they can compared to where they were the last 2 years. I don't think so, right? It's been a clear step back. Offensive line's bad. Your quarterback, number 1 overall, hasn't played like it. That's supposed to be your guy, and it just hasn't lived up to the expectations. I think with how loud things got, one, Jimmy Sexton's going to do what he can, to find ways to earn money for his clients and for himself. But 2, I think it's Jimmy Sexton or somebody in Sark's camp saying, hey, I can leave in Texas. You can go back to Charlie Strong and you can go back to Tom Herman when things weren't great. So, yeah, enough with the offensive coordinator talk because I can just leave. And then you'll be left with nothing. So that's kind of where my brain originally went, especially following the Kentucky game in which you had your worst offensive performance. But at the same time, Coach, there's got to be something to it, right? That's where the tinfoil hat comes on for me, because why else would this have ever seen the light of day 4 hours before you're supposed to take the field in a must-win game for your season and for – I don't want to say it, but really the support of your fan base to still remain there. That's tough.
It's a quality conspiracy theory. It's good because otherwise you're trying to figure out what do you gain from it being out. It's like, what do you gain from it leaked out there? And like I said, I've always said I think Sark has NFL aspirations. You guys have heard me say that many times. I think it's after he wins a national title at Texas. I think he's going to truly consider going to the NFL. But I think that's what the BMDs are upset about it. Like, well, right now you are not close to winning that national title. At least you were closer last year than you are this year. So that's so I don't necessarily think Sark wants to leave Texas, especially not for the Titans. That's not the NFL. Now, the NFL job, you take what you can get because they don't come open a lot and they're just hard jobs to get, period. So if the Titans were considering, I guess you take it. But I think that's a bluff if it is kind of what they're based on. Like, Sark ain't leaving to go to the Titans. Come on. The Titans, guys. I think he wants to bet on himself that he'll win at Texas, national title type win, and then bounce. to a cool job in the
end. He'll want to see Arch through, right?
Like, you better. Yeah.
That's kind of why I, anticipated this whole thing to be where it was. It's like, hey, Sark's not leaving with Arch still here.
You're right about that. That's a good point. I didn't think about that one today, but you're right.
But is Arch going to be here?
Oh, look at it! Now we get conspiracy theories
from the clouds, Coach.
Where's the X-Files music? Ding, ding.
I got some conspiracy theories. I mean, I'm retired. Okay, you need to call me because I need to sell you a ranch because I have too much time on my hands to think about all these conspiracy theories. But here's my theory.
Give me a good one.
Here's my theory. And it's me. I don't know I don't talk to anybody. I don't know nothing. I don't know anything. It's a 100% from my crazy brain, which those of you that keep up with the show know that you don't know what this brain's going to put out. And I don't either until it comes out sometimes. But what if Vandy comes in and just mops up the field with us? That's going to pretty much end our playoff hopes.
Yeah.
And with Arch being concussed, is there a possibility or a chance where he goes, they kind of play the concussion card and say, we don't want to take a chance. We're going to keep evaluating, because with this offensive line, he's taken way too many hits.
Oh, yeah.
And the Arch camp knows that.
That's true.
So do you give him a break the rest of the season if our playoff hopes are over and they play the concussion card, and you wait and rebuild that offensive line into one that can give him some real protection and keep him from, of course, what happened the other day, I thought it was a penalty. I can't believe they didn't even review that.
Really?
I thought it was a penalty, but it doesn't matter. In spite of that, I'm just saying if Vandy comes in and makes easy work of us, which we hope and pray that doesn't happen, and it pretty much takes our playoff hopes out, we got a week off. That's my crazy conspiracy on the winning drive.
The thing that I would kind of add a little bit of fuel to the fire there with your conspiracy theory, he has taken a lot of hits, and the Mannings got their own independent people looking at this head injury.
What you talking about, Willis?
They got, I mean, come on now. Yes, Texas got their own people looking at it, but I'm sure there is some they got their own opinion. They got a second opinion, and the Mannings got their own people too. So, he has taken a lot of hits. He's taking a lot of hits. Yes, he's taking a ton of hits. That's a quality conspiracy theory right there, because it's got some, it's got some meat to it. But just a conspiracy theory. It ain't, all right, let's get back to it. How about this one from John? John says, Coach Steven stayed away and Sark kicked the field goal and not going to go for it on fourth. Yeah, Sark he has modified the offense somewhat to CJ's point. He's throwing more screens now, less vertical shots downfield. Also, I think he is now leaning into the kicking game and special teams. Hey, I got to kick the field goal now. We're going to win with defense and special teams. So I do think there's less risk, riverboat gambling on offense, I guess is the best way to put it.
It's called humble pie.
Yeah. So, which is good. That's good. I mean, I think it's a good thing for Sark. He needs to learn there are plenty of ways to win, which he talks about this, and it ain't always got to be the way you expected it to look. Yeah. Right? Sometimes it don't look. Nobody expected Mississippi State to look that way.
That was a huge decision by Sark to kick those field goals and to trust your defense to get the ball back, right? It ended up working in the sense that Niblett tied the game himself, but his offense had been rolling, and he said, hey, if we can just get one more stop, we're going to find a way to tie this game up, and it ended up working exactly because there's no guarantee that Texas ends up putting points on the board if they go for it on fourth down. In that case, you're dealing with about 4.5, 5 minutes. You're down 10 points. That is a tough hill to climb. So, yeah, Sark made the right decision there, 100%.
Agree with that. Thank you for the super chat. Landon here with the super chat says that fourth quarter was the first Sark spurt of the season. Yeah, we haven't had those Sark runs I used to talk about. I think because the offense has been so sorts. The thing we have now, which is unique, and I brought this up, and I've talked to CJ about it and Jerry too. When Texas has this crisis mode that gets activated, and we've only really seen it in games where they get down like 2 touchdowns. And I've seen it actually the Ohio State game, Florida game, and this Mississippi State game. And so now I'm like, okay, now it's more than an abnormality. Now it's a trend. And so I started tracking it. Thank you. That's why Matthew's the best in the business. I started tracking it. And basically what I got is 3.5 quarters of a sample size. All right. And when Texas gets down at least 2 touchdowns, so this is the offense after they get down 2 touchdowns. 7.5 yards per play. USC is leading the country at 7.8 yards per play. They got a 12% explosive play rate. Oregon right now has the most explosive plays in the country, 20-plus yards, 61, I believe, and they're at 11.6% explosive play rate. And the third down conversion rate for Texas in that sample size is 60%. Indiana leads the country right now at 58% third down conversion rate. So it's a small sample size, but you got it against Ohio State. You got it against Florida. You got it against Mississippi State. You're on the road for all of those as well. It's just weird, this crisis mode that's activated. And they are, when it is activated, they are arguably one of the top 5 best offenses in the country. I just don't know how you bottle that and replicate it. I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't. I don't have that answer.
I've got no clue. Coach, I mean, we hear coaches all the time say, hey, it's a 0-0 game. You know, we're going into the second half or going into the fourth quarter. Is there a way Sark can just come out and say, hey, we're down 14-0. We're down 21-0.
Well, that's been the hope. That's been the problem all season. There seems to be a lack of urgency, you know, and I go back to the point I make every single week that Sark came in with all gas, no brakes. And we don't see the all gas until we're down by 2 touchdowns. And then we see it. But we need to see it more. But I'm afraid the reason we don't see it more is because we haven't practiced it. And when you don't practice it, your linemen aren't in shape. And so when you go all gas, no brakes, you want to gas the defense and make them so tired that you eventually take over the game. But if you don't practice that and replicate that every week and every day in practice, then your linemen are not going to be in shape, and they're going to be sucking wind as bad as the defense is, and the defense can sub, and we don't have any guys to sub necessarily on offense. So it's just kind of a tit for tat thing, but it shows that when there's a sense of urgency, we can get up the line, call a play, keep him in the shotgun, which you know y'all may not agree. I think it's big for him. He's more comfortable back there. Almost all these guys were coached in high school with fast-paced offense. Almost every one of them. You know, that's what they're comfortable doing. You know, that's what I think we need to tap into a little bit more. It's a sense of urgency and more, you know. Now, of course, it depends on how the game goes with Vanderbilt, you know, because you can't have 3 and outs. You know, you can't do it. It'll be a long, long day if we have 3 and outs. So you got to be smart. But I'm hoping they can figure out a way to hurry up that offense and give it more of a sense of urgency as we start the game, rather than when it's time we have to come back to win a game.
100%. And Coach, I'm actually doing I went down the rabbit hole. You know, I love doing this, Rod. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
But and I'll give just a little tease of it right now. Texas has 11 touchdowns this year against Power 5 opponents. Only 11, right? 5 of them came this past Saturday against Mississippi State. One of the big things that's really stood out to me so far, only 2 of those possessions have taken off 3 minutes or more off the clock, right? And to your point, Rod and Coach, a lot of those drives have been from behind where you've had to put points on the board very quickly. Florida was one. Obviously, this past weekend, there's 3 or 4. The only ones that have gone more than that is Oklahoma, in which you went 14 plays, 75 yards in 7 minutes. Yeah. And then you had one actually against Mississippi State very early in the game, the second quarter. You went 10 plays for 37 yards, and you did that in about 4.5 minutes. You only needed to go 37 yards, right? So you could inch and kind of play your game, right? Kind of just say, hey, we can get 4 at a time. But the thing that's really surprising to me here, and again, I'll have this fully written up. Rod, maybe we can do a video of it, Coach. The three of us to get together for a video, because I like what you're talking about with the crisis mode, and I think there's some really interesting things here. 11 touchdown drives this year. Only 2 of them have resulted in 3 rush attempts or more. Every single 9 of the 11 are with 2 runs or less.
Wow.
So, Coach, what does that tell you?
Wow.
They're going quick, they're throwing the football, and they're seeing explosive plays.
Man.
And that's how they're putting points on the board. They can't inch. That's not in their DNA. That's not who this team is. And, you know, and the 12 personnel, I got some numbers there. It's not the prettiest, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what you have to do when Arch returns is we just got to fight fire with fire and air it out. Go quick.
Yeah. And it's weird because then Sark doesn't have in those moments, he doesn't have the burden of trying to create balance in the offense because nobody expects him to have balance.
Yeah.
They're like, no, just go score as fast as you can. Just go score. Yeah. So that's what we care about right now. And so he's like, F it, I don't have to run the ball, or if I run it, I can only run it when I know I'm going to get a positive yards. But otherwise, he's almost handcuffed by I have to have a lot of balance. I have to have balance in my offense. At this time, I think you're past that. Just do what works. And there's something to it. There's no doubt. I can't wait to read your piece, CJ. I'll do a video with you, brother, and let me know.
I'm excited.
All right. B. Broomy here says, might have been one of the better games I've been to. Us Texas fans were feeling dejected at one point. Mississippi State fans and Brandon Walker had their dreams absolutely crushed. Hey, if you were at that game, that's amazing. That's a great game because not a lot of people would have chose to go to it. CJ was there. That's one of those all-time – you didn't know it was going to be an all-time great game for Texas football, but now in 15, 20 years, people are going to be talking about that game. You were like, oh, I was there. I was at that game. You was at that game? Like, I was at that game, man. Yeah, I saw it.
I tell you, I feel bad. Before the year, Jeff Howell, our great Jeff Howell, he texted me, hey, man, like, you know, which game do you want? Because I'd like to get back on the road, get back in the box. I said, hey, I'll take Starkville. You know, I've been there before. I didn't mind it. I kind of like the town. I'll get back out there to Starkville. And he goes, okay, I'll take Kentucky then. I was like, perfect. Cool. That gives me a little week off after Oklahoma. I can kind of sit back on the couch. Poor Jeff, man. He had to watch that 16-13 snooze fest, and I got a 17-point comeback on the road.
That is true. Yeah, you're right about that.
Man.
That's good. That's classic. All right. Let's you did this. Oh, yeah. You know what? CJ, like a lot of us, hey, you thought it was over too. I think a lot of people thought it was over.
That Mosley touchdown was right in his face. I'm sure y'all seen the photos.
Oh, yeah. He looks hurt.
He is 6 feet from that touchdown.
He looks hurt. I saw the video of him celebrating when they were up like 38. Oh, he was celebrating. Then they got the videos of him after. It's a fantastically tragic story. Let's thank our last sponsor of the night, our friends at South Point. The South Point Dodge. Texas football fans, you can score an easy extra point this season when you get to the point with our friends at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock right now, including the all-new 2025 Ram 1500. Get the real deal today and drive away in the all-new Ram 1500. Proven to last. Plus, you get employee incentive pricing with our friends over at South Point Dodge. That's their fancy way of saying you get the employee discount. That's right. You pay what the employees pay, and you won't find a better deal than that. So score big today at South Point Dodge. Go see them off of I-35 in South Austin, or you can go online at southpointdodge.com. Get to the point with our friends at South Point Dodge. All right, we got a couple more super chats before we end things. Keith Davis, thank you for the super chat. Very kind of you. Good to hear from you. Says, I just want to say that Vogel has me all depressed now. Bring me there for a minute. Please tell me lies. No, trust. By the end of this week, Keith, we will have, and CJ does it too, he'll have his ways Texas can win this game, even with Matthew Caldwell as a starting quarterback. That's how he gets. So we haven't made predictions yet. So don't get depressed yet. Don't be depressed just yet. All right. This is one thing this team does is keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. All right. Michael with the last super chat of the evening says 9:33. Oh, here in Florida, and OU still sucks. Yes. Love you too, brother. Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you for a super chat. And thank each and every one of you for watching and for listening. If we missed any of your questions, we apologize about that. Please direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. Bobby Burton, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, and Jerry Hamilton as well. And also tomorrow you'll have our 7:15 live stream, 7:15 p.m. And that'll be with CJ Vogel, also Amanda Atwell, and my man Jeff Howe on that live stream. Is always one of the best. And lifetime Longhorn Marcus Myers joining us. Hey, he'll be on with the Winning Drive, as you guys know, as he is each and every Thursday. So we're
Rod, before we leave.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we leave. 9-5.
Look at that.
We're getting to 9-5.
Hey.
Wow. I watched it from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the Jackson airport. It's a 2-hour and 2-minute movie. It fit perfectly.
Wow.
I arrived to when TSA gates opened up. 9-5. I loved it.
Think about this. So you watched it in a Jackson airport, and he still gave it a 9 out of 10. Damn. That's how you know it's a good movie. Because the experience didn't ruin it for you. You was that captivated.
I was locked in. Blazing Saddles is next up.
All right.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait.
That's great.
Welcome to my world.
That's fantastic. All right. Great stuff, CJ. Thank you for all your hard work. Coach, thanks for the wisdom and the knowledge. Thanks to our man, Stevie Lee. We appreciate him as well. And guys, give it up for Matthew. We don't thank him enough. He's a real MVP. We can't do it without Matthew. For Coach and for CJ and for Matthew, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.